When we're responsible people and not doing irresponsible things, we stay connected. But when we are shame-based and then acting on the shame, then we aren't in fellowship or companionship with healthy people. From New Life Ministries, this is Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn. I'm Stephen Arterburn. And Going Deeper is all about taking the tough issues, the hard issues of life, looking a little bit deeper inside so that we can gain some insight into our lives. Hi, Steve Arterburn here, and thanks for joining me for Going Deeper. We're doing a series on shame. Well, I'll tell you, there is a lot of shame in the Christian community and outside of the Christian community too. It's kind of a universal thing. And I think one of the greatest things is a person who has lived kind of a shame-based life, either because of maybe you were born into poverty and you're ashamed of that, or your parents were crummy and you were ashamed of them, or they made you ashamed of yourself. One of the greatest things is when you get out of that and you see that life can be so much better and so have so much more when you don't have a shame-based living life. All right, so here's what I want to share with you. Companions against shame's harm. Cash. What is cash on the barrelhead for you if you're experiencing shame? I've said this before, and I really believe that there is a match made in heaven for some people. And I'm going to talk to you about some of those matches. They're not boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife matches, but they're literally, God is waiting for you to make the match with one of these people. But let me tell you what happens. When we are in shame, we naturally disconnect from other people and we are isolated. When I was going to seminary, one of the things that we shared there was a thing called integrity therapy. And Dr. Drakeford was one of the biggest advocates of integrity therapy. And he said this essentially: if I have integrity, if I'm doing the right thing, I stay connected to you. I stay connected to my wife, he would say. But when I do something inappropriate that lacks integrity, all of a sudden I feel shame, or I try to justify what I did so I won't feel shame. Now I'm separated from the person that cares about me or the person that I care about. But if I maintain integrity, the isolation and the separation won't come. Here's what he was saying. When we're responsible people and not doing irresponsible things, we stay connected. But when we are shame-based and then acting on the shame, then we aren't in fellowship or companionship with healthy people. Remember in Scripture where these people, they had this problem, major skin problem called leprosy. And one of the things you had to do as a leper is tell people you were unclean. What a horrible, horrible existence. Walking down the street and you're yelling at people, I'm unclean, I'm unclean. Well, you know what's really sad? Is that people can see you. You think you're faking it, but people can see you. And it's almost like you're yelling, I'm unclean, or I'm full of shame because of the way that you interact with other folks or the way that you don't interact. Everything becomes about the shame. So you can go through life feeling unclean and kind of with your personality and the way you relate, yelling to people that you're unclean, or you could decide to pick up on one of these matches that are made in heaven. Who would they be? Well, it could be a psychiatrist. I mean, that's at the top of the list. You might be in such bad shape, the shame may have driven you into depression. Maybe it takes medication for you to get out of that, and then you can be free from it. Maybe it is a therapist, hopefully a Christian therapist, because we understand that there is an ultimate way of getting rid of all things that are shameful. That's accepting the forgiveness that Christ has for us for whatever we've done. Maybe it's not one of those. Maybe it's a compassionate friend. And not all friends are compassionate. And you think you got a friend until you get in trouble, and then you discover they're really pretty mean and uncaring. Maybe it's a sponsor in one of the recovery programs, and maybe it's a mentor. Mentoring can be so powerful. I mentor a 16-year-old that lives about an hour away from here. And it's just so rewarding to put something into somebody else and not get paid for it. And my guy, he took a new job and was employee of the month first month he was there. All because of my mentoring. No, I'm just kidding. It's because he's a great guy, but he just needed a little bit of guidance. And so I signed up for that. You might become a mentor for somebody, but maybe you humble yourself and say, maybe that I would benefit from a relationship like that. So we have these people that destroy us, that hurt us, but maybe there's one of these people, one of these companions against shame's harm, cash, person that does this. They encourage us. Are you getting any encouragement in your life? Sometimes you even feel like you don't deserve it. And so you're not around people that are encouraging. And one of the great gifts is when I stop associating with people that increase my shame versus the encouraging people, the people that are for me who start to decrease my shame. And then 20/20 vision. You want people that can really see. Now, nobody's going to see you if they're too busy looking at themselves. But a really great person to help you can see who you are and help you get better. They're realistic. They don't tell you, you can do anything you want to. Any parent that tells a child you can do anything you want to knows how to grow about that big, because it's just not true. But there's a lot you can do that you never dreamed you can do. There are a lot of things you can achieve that you never thought you might achieve. But I got to tell you, if I was thinking I was a brain surgeon, there'd be a lot of people with brain damage before it was all over with. And then, one of the greatest things is when we have somebody in our life who has no need to change us, but allows us to make the changes. Because anybody that's complaining or criticizing you or forcing you, you want to resist. Human nature, dig in your heels, defend your ground. But a great companion against shame's harm, they're not going to do that for you. And they're going to give you honest feedback. And you're going to be able to trust them consistently in everything that they do. So here's my message. Shame separates us. God's love, compassion, forgiveness, grace brings us back together with people. So let's get rid of that shame. Do whatever it takes to get rid of the shame. If you called us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, we would help you find one of those compassions against shame's harm. Cash. That's what you need. So you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and I'll see you here next time, and we'll continue this series on shame. Thank you for joining me for Going Deeper. I hope something I've said may have helped just a little bit. If you have a question you'd like me to answer or comment, just email me at stevesocial@newlife.com. I'll see you next time.
If you want to support Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn, be sure to subscribe so you never miss another episode. And if you know someone who would benefit from this episode, be sure to share it with them. See you on the next Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn from New Life Ministries.